Hi, today we are talking about whether more internet restrictions should be placed on children. I'm arguing that there should be less internet restrictions for children.
And I'm arguing that there should be more internet restrictions for children.
While the internet proposes many challenges for children, a lot of this can affect a child's mental state. However, in the UK, where many young children between ages 10 and 15 have some of the highest internet usage in the developed world, the UK Education Policy Institute said that children who were restricted had worse digital skills when they grow up. This can severely harm them in their life because they have less digital skills in a digital world.
While it is true that if children are exposed to the internet, they can develop internet safety over time, but I do think there should be some sort of cutoff age or some sort of more restrictions to learn that instead of being susceptible to things like grooming. Grooming is the action of a pedophile preparing a child to meet, especially via the internet chat room, with intentions to committing sexual offenses, rape, sex trafficking, even murder sometimes. About 20% of children are targeted for sexual grooming were under the age of 12, and some were even just out of preschool age. There are about 500,000 predators online every day, and kids 12 to 15 are susceptible to being groomed and manipulated by them. So, that being said, while I don't think that it's wrong to teach children and expose them to the internet, it needs to be done with stricter precautions because if they're given free range to learn themselves, there's chances that they can be groomed and by these people and then they can be raped or murdered.
Well, it's very understandable that grooming is a predatory act for which many children can fall in, mostly because they're young and gullible. The definition of grooming and other websites will say that grooming can literally happen to anyone. So the question is, while you're a child, you can be protected largely by your parents or an organization, which we should empower to put in internet regulations and maybe not necessarily restrictions. And so we can empower those organizations and entities to protect people. However, the same study I mentioned earlier about the UK education policy said that children who were restricted online were less likely to be able to handle difficult situations later. Furthermore, things like less trust from their parents, the belief that they might not be able to handle some responsibility, and also not the opportunity to make smart decisions were things that they saw in people who had more internet restrictions when they were younger.
While it is true that people of all ages can be groomed, about 50% of people who are groomed are from the ages of 12 to 15. So when we restrict their internet access, that percentage, that amount of people will not be groomed. That's a crazy large amount of people who are groomed. Um, People who are groomed can obviously suffer from severe mental health problems like depression and anxiety. So if we restrict their internet access, they also won't suffer from that as well. And also, their safety of just being raped and harmed in general. And also, internet can cause not even just grooming, but the internet itself can cause depression, anxiety just through overuse as well. And because children don't know how to regulate and moderate internet usage themselves, so we can restrict that a little bit. Less children are likely to get depression and anxiety. It also can cause physical illness as well, like obesity, because they are spent more time on the screen, less time on physical activity. So if we restrict that as well, a less percentage of children will be obese. So overall, if we take away children's ability to be groomed, not only will less children be harmed, but also these other things, as in like overuse of internet usage, will cause less mental and physical illnesses.
Mhm. Well, I feel like one of your earlier points about how internet restrictions could possibly take away 50% of grooming in general. I think your time frame was 12 to 16, maybe. But just assuming that restrictions would instantly take away 50% of grooming incidents is a straw man fallacy. Like that children are capable of getting around restrictions. They're capable, many children are very capable of rewriting code and whatnot. So it kind of depends on what they want and how gullible they are and what situations they're putting themselves in. Furthermore, just because someone isn't experiencing grooming or internet bullying or all those associated with the mental health issues which are associated with online usage. However, I would argue that the internet offers more opportunity than, opportunities to groom. For example, with the new booming NFT environment, which is cryptocurrency, children are capable of making a lot of their own money and business decisions at an early age. One girl, Nyla Hayes, who is 12 years old, puts drawings up on the NFT web, and she's made over $4 million at 12 years old. So obviously, she is not an outsider as well for those who are capable of doing it. We can gain a lot of opportunity, including networking and gaining knowledge through the internet. So I feel like some of the downsides of more internet access are offset by some of the opportunities. And I feel like people who might succeed or make $4 million, if they're feeling sick, whether mentally, emotionally, physically, they have the resources to find help.
Well, it clearly is possible for some special cases where children can make money off the internet. There are more children, suffering than children who are, gaining. I think that when you look at the percentages overall, the internet for children does more harm than good at a certain age. And while there is possible for people to make money off of it, I think that children should only be doing this through heavy guidance and more, like you said, regulations or like restrictions on can they access, the websites with the NFTs? Can they talk to other people? They're at the end of the day, they are minors, so trying to do things that minors shouldn't do, is just going to lead to, things that children aren't ready for. For example, if children try to, make money, or get invested in things like crypto or NFTs, a lot of times they have a chance to basically, try to use their credit card information to buy these things or try to invest into small businesses, or they promote children gambling on the internet as well. So things like identity theft and credit card theft can happen as well because children just are not wise enough to make decisions to know when they're getting scammed or when there is a virus on their computer. So I think that there needs to be more restriction on these things where, there can be some positives of children making money, but overall there are more suffering than there is positives, and there's less special cases.
Well, that's a valid point that predatory behavior can be increased as children might get on the internet for sure. And that's something I feel like we've already established. But I'd like to see a statistic that maybe more children don't use the internet for opportunity and use it more for harming themselves. And that kind of leads back to my idea of internet regulation, where entities are capable of empowering children to make better decisions. In conclusion, I believe that there should be less internet restrictions for children. It allows them to develop digital skills, make critical decisions, and even give themselves opportunity in the real world.
And I still believe that there should be more restrictions on children's internet access because of grooming, sex trafficking, child pornography, identity theft, credit card theft, as well as health issues such as obesity, and mental health issues such as depression and anxiety.
All right, Taylor. Well, thank you for debating with me today.
Thank you for being with me.